Alright, here's a quick build that you can use to do this week's Master Challenge in Crota's End. It's Strand and Solar Surge. Strand is just a very good subclass to use for the Abyss on normal mode and Master mode, but especially on Master mode with Challenge, because you need to move together as a team fairly quickly, so like sword skating or grappling from lantern to lantern, because you can only preserve the chalice, or you can only enlighten the lamps one time per chalice preservation. So it means that you can't just kind of walk through the whole encounter with Weight of Darkness times 10 without any way to move ahead faster. So Strand's just very good for that. This build is specifically designed for the Abyss encounter, and this is the one that I used to do the Master Challenge. And as you can see here, I did complete it. Got a Word of Crota, Adept. And I'm using Swarmers here, so the idea is that I can move from lantern to lantern, etc. And my hatchlings are going to be basically doing a whole bunch of dirty work in the background, because stopping at any point to shoot enemies or deal with threats like that while you're like moving from lantern to lantern, trying to bypass the swinging pendulums of death, you need some form of ad clear that is just kind of fire and forget, and that's what hatchlings do best on Strand. So Swarmers are going to make my Tangles produce 2 Threadlings, and it's going to make my Threadlings unravel targets, right? So that's kind of the concept here. So with Broodweaver, I'm using Grapple Melee, obviously. For any Strand sub build that you use on the Abyss, you should just use Grapple. The aspects, Mindspun Invocation, so that when I do grapple, if I grapple melee a thrall or an enemy, I produce 3 hatchlings. So this is basically a hatchling grenade mixed with a grapple grenade because of Mindspun Invocation. So that's very good. And then same goes for Weaver's Call. This is basically a hatchling grenade mixed with a healing rift that benefits you and your teammates. So this is a great utility ability to use when you get to each lantern and somebody's enlightening and you all have a few seconds to stand there, or if you just need to use it on the fly, just for safety and just to get more hatchlings, or threadlings I should say, working in the background. I mix those two up, hatchling and threadling. But yeah, produce Threadlings. Hatchling is just weapon perk. I got it. Thread of Rebirth. So this is basically Hatchling, the Hatchling perk, but for all Strand weapons. And it works quite regularly. Like, it's almost like Siphon mods, like how you produce an Orb of Power, like every 2 kills. You'll be producing Threadlings often by getting Strand weapon kills. And this is just generally better than the Hatchling perk because you are not required to get precision kills or multi-kills. It's just kills. So yeah, more Threadlings. This is a great fragment for this build. Evolution, because your Threadlings do need to do more damage, then they do need to travel further. And why wouldn't you use this if you're doing a Threadling build? It's just kind of a no-brainer. Generation for more grenade energy. Not much needs to be said there, but I will say that your hatchlings will feed Thread of Generation, like in the background the entire time, because pretty much for the whole encounter, your Threadlings are going to be doing work for you without you even realizing it, and you're just going to be generating grenade energy the whole time because of your hatchlings, because of your unraveling, all that. Threat of Warding, because picking up an orb of power for Woven Mail is clutch. You can get hit by a lantern and then survive a thrall hitting you, for example, if you have Woven Mail. It'll save you often. And because you're on the move, having a healing rift to stand in is not ideal when you're on the move. So when you are on the move, you can pick up an orb and have 60% damage resistance. So that's pretty much the build as far as abilities and fragments and aspects go. The two strand weapons that I'm using here, well, I have to use two weapons for champions because we have 2-3 unstoppables at the end of the bridge. We have one barrier, so may as well just use whatever's in the artifact. So Quicksilver Storm for barriers and a fusion rifle. I barely ever have to use the fusion rifle. If you want to use arc, you could, because there's some arc shielded knights. There's no solar shields, but solar is benefiting from surge for Master Crota this week, so it's doing 25% more damage. Then you can use any sword you want, but I like Thin Precipice because it is Strand, so basically any kills that I get with this thing will regularly produce hatchlings. Never mind the god roll. Well, you'd probably argue this is not a god roll at all. Never mind my rolls here on this. This is built for a Banner of War Titan build that I'm not going to go into on this video, but just use any sword that you need. I prefer Thin Precipice because, like I said, it produces hatchlings or threadlings, and I can just jump and sword skate around the map. You don't need Eager Edge. If I don't want to use my grapple, if my grapple uptime is down, then I can just jump up and swing, jump up and swing and jump, and you're just negating Weight of Darkness times 10 completely by using a sword in this encounter. And then also, while you're on the move, like Woven Mail is going to benefit you with damage resistance, you can just put your shield up and tank a bunch of Thrall hitting you, and then either do a Vortex heavy attack, and then you just eliminate all the Thrall that are surrounding you, and produce hatchling or threadlings. So yeah, sword is very good. Then as far as the combat mods, let's go to that quick screen here. Siphon, you need some kind of siphon mod, so you can run heavy-handed on the arms, or you can run a harmonic siphon on the headpiece. I like targeting, I like reloading, I like snappy weapons. It's just personal preference, but if you wanted to use heavy-handed here instead of like impact induction or font of focus, you could. I'm using surge mods here because I'm not a believer of really mixing surges with kickstarts, because then your surge mod is going to be taken away from your kickstart energy, and your kickstart energy is going to be taken away from your surge energy, basically. So if you do use surges, use as many as you can. I'm using Font of Focus here because my build, as far as stats go, I have tier 7 discipline. So as long as I have armor charge, I will have tier 10 discipline because this adds 30 discipline to my build. And then, like I said, if you're running surges, you may as well capitalize on it because you're not decaying armor charge any faster by equipping multiple surges. So equip as many as you can. I would have liked to have 2 Strand Surge weapon mods here for 18% more damage, but I wanted to run Scav just so I can always have enough sword energy to move. But yeah, I have 10% more damage on my Strand weapons. Why not? My armor charge is already decaying because of Font of Focus. Time dilation to extend the duration of my armor charge from 10 seconds per charge to 15 seconds. Powerful attraction to scoop up any orbs nearby. Bomber for more grenade energy. Also, if you wanted to run like no, I wouldn't even recommend that, actually. I was going to say bolstering detonation, but you're not really doing a lot of damage, if any damage, with your grapples. It's just on the one occasion where you might grapple from lantern to lantern and finish off with a grapple melee against a thrall or a target. Then bolstering detonation would be useful, but not really for this build. So that's pretty much it. I will do a hunter and titan variant next because I've completed the challenge on all 3. And yeah, so you get your hands on a knockout system of adept weapons. So you will get 3 different adept weapons this week if you do it on all 3 characters. And then next week you'll get, the remaining 2 weapons, and then you'll get random weapons. And then you could always go to the Master Crota Spoils table at the end of the raid and buy adept weapons there for random rolls, because as you may know, you cannot, while you can put enhanced perks on your adept weapon, so I can I can change, by the way, you can change your barrels and your mag options completely at the crafting table. But the perks stay the same, so you can only enhance them with ascendant alloys and cores and all that. So this isn't exactly the role I wanted for Word of Crota, so I'm probably not going to do that. And by the way, it does cost Spoils of Conquest to level up your adept weapons, or to masterwork it, which I wasn't even paying attention to. But yeah, I think it's disabled right now because of the gun glitch stuff. But yeah, you will be able to put enhanced perks on your adept weapons. So if you get a good god roll, you may as well fully upgrade it, and that'll be slightly better than the crafted normal raid weapons. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.